great kind of final will be amazing. Yes, bears are here. They say hello. Yeah, no preferred pronoun, POI via the chat. I guess, finals, so couple of shout outs, of course, if I may. Shout out to my girlfriend Belle, who's been nothing but supportive. She's been studying the law the whole day. May she get good grades in her exams. Shout out to my debate kids and team from Forum, the UANP Debate Society in the Philippines. Jaron and I, we love the beautiful Indian circuit. We're here a lot. I hope you're not tired of us. For real, a beautiful, safe space, creative, such brilliant people. I really mean it as a judge and an observer and as a debater. Shout out to everyone watching here and of course to my partner Jaron, off which I wouldn't be here today. In fact, I had to iron round 4 because he had some important things to do. He is forgiven for that. Here we are. Thank you. Okay, I'll do a count before I begin. Starting my speech in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, contrary to popular belief, I don't think humans and society are as free as we think we are. I posit all of humanity is enslaved. We are enslaved by the birth lottery, we are enslaved by capitalism, and we are enslaved by all of these internal and external circumstances outside our control that lead to things like the collective action problem and tragedy of the commons that perpetuate the biggest flaws and suffering for human cognition and imperfection. Due to our own limitations, these make life bad. We think that Roko's Basilisk is here to liberate us and set us free, and as a consequence, we'd rather have a world where everyone is striving for greatness in order to bring that more proximate, more fast, and immediately to our life. A couple of features of our model we think are crucial and relevant to this debate. The first is, this is a prefers motion, and we think that we need to be able to characterize that the comparison of this particular world is that the people living here will be aware of its existence. That is to say, we think that it's fair to say that people at a young age in this particular world and in society are going to be influenced and ingrained and maybe even potentially indoctrinated to believe these particular things, and it becomes part and parcel of things like human history and religion, similar to we have some parts of those like wanting to go to the afterlife and reach our full sense of morality in that particular regard. Meaning, your main purpose in life, more than just being happy and being able to do what you want, is now given a sense of direction wherein you are here to be able to contribute to the common good and be able to expedite the discovery of the basilisk at a point in which it becomes beneficial to you, it becomes beneficial to your peers, and it becomes a collective benefit to all of society. Second, this particularly looks like not anymore having a lot of these problems that we see here in society. If you think about it, any single problem that we have in society, whether that be war, whether that be greed, whether that be death, whether it be genocide, anything that pisses you off, Squid Game Season 2 sucking shit, but the motion in this tournament being absolute fucking fire, anything that pisses you off and makes humanity and quality of life bad goes away, and we think the Basilisk uniquely is able to make that happen. On average, the quality of life becomes better, and we're literally able to perfect Maslow's hierarchy in the pursuit and creation of an ultimate utopia. Third, we think that this also looks like humanity now having a collective and unified shared purpose to make that universal dream come into reality, and the subscription and creation of a moral code and impetus to be able to make that to happen. That is to say, this uniquely is able to cut through all of the things that would otherwise divide us in status quo. Things like religion, things like race, things like gender and ethnicity. Those come secondary now to the pursuit of the common good and the greater good that happens as the consequence of the Basilisk. Third and lastly is that this particular good is ultimately important in order to pursue our full perception of Maslow's hierarchy, and we think the Basilisk is literally able to allow that to happen. Closing opposition, go for it, please.
So I'm confused. So you are saying that we should go through a genocide so that we are able to reach happiness. This also justifies you going ahead and killing vast majority of people so that some can live a happy life. This is bizarre.
Genocides and status quo happen. They happen because people have different motivations. Meaning, one person's actualization is another person's genocide. On our side of the house, people are now conditioned to gravitate towards being able to discover this basilisk at a sooner pace in order to be able to solve all of humanity's fucking problems. Meaning, if you want to commit a genocide because you want to and that fulfills you, we're going to use the basilisk capacity to tell you that's bad, and even if you want to do it, that becomes an exercise of your agency. You get the punishment of that, similar to how we have a criminal justice system, and that basilisk is able to arbitrate that. In fact, on all sides of the house, we recognize that these things like suffering, pain, genocide are bad, but we need uniquely a force to be able to condition society and shape us to be able to gravitate to a world where that does not happen and that no longer happens. I get freedom. I understand that the other side might be like, Joseph, you're gonna rob people's ability to make decisions and agency. Yeah, because we think that on average, people are kind of fucking bad and nefarious. Meaning, if you can remove that capacity, when you remove all of these pain and humanity, we're able to literally increase our quality of life. What is the argument, right? The argument uniquely is about this idea of how life right now is a zero-sum game, and we think by discovering this particular basilisk in a world wherein that happens, life becomes particularly better. Particularly because all of this conflicting particular interest, suffering is going to happen on all sides, but at least on our side, we use this huge stick and negative reinforcement to allow and shape people in check in order to be able to push them to be able to help society and allow them to be able to solve all of these particular problems. The second is, this becomes the ultimate exercise of agency that actually leads to the best fulfillment of meaning in life for Maslow's hierarchy. Because the point in which a nefarious or bad actor is out there, it now longer becomes an attack not just against one, but an attack against all of society. Because the comparative and problem in status quo is that people often judging things from a utilitarian metric only start feeling empathy, only start feeling action at the point in which it affects them and is proximate to them as an individual. Meaning, unless you're like super empathetic or you're genuinely a chill or nice guy, you probably won't give a shit about all of the suffering. But now, when you become an actual stakeholder in that and these things become proximate to you, we literally make the best incentive structure and check and balance to be able to whip you up into shape, to be able to not be useless, not be a dick, and be able to push and steer society to its utmost capacity to perfect Maslow's hierarchy. What have I told you so far? I told you that this is ultimately an effective means to be able to allow people to go into shape and actually make these decisions. We are very proud to open this debate and stand proposition. Help.